Bangkok is not a forgiving city. And Bangkok girls are not forgiving women. Most foreign men make the same 12 mistakes and then wonder why she disappeared without a single explanation. No goodbye. No reason. Just gone. And they spend weeks replaying every conversation, trying to find the moment it went wrong. I have watched this happen more times than I should have to count. I live here. I know how this city works, how these women think, and exactly which errors men repeat on a loop, without ever figuring out that they are the pattern. These are the 12 mistakes. Pay attention to all of them, because if you are making even 3 of them right now, she already has 1 foot out the door. If you understand what I am about to tell you, you will avoid the kind of damage that takes months to undo. You will stop misreading signals that are actually very clear once you know what you are looking at. And you will understand Bangkok women in a way that most men who have lived here for years never quite figure out. Let me start. Mistake number 1. Treating Bangkok like the rest of Thailand. Bangkok is a different country inside Thailand. The women here are not village girls, they are not naive, they are not sheltered, and they are absolutely not waiting to be introduced to the world by a foreign man. They are already living in it, fully, loudly, on their own terms. A Bangkok woman has been exposed to international men through expat culture, through apps, through nightlife, through social media. She has reference points. She knows what other men offer, and she has already compared you in her head before you have finished your first sentence. The big fish, small pond dynamic does not apply here. This is not a pond. This is an ocean, and she knows how to swim. The man who arrives with generic Thailand expectations signals something immediately. He signals low effort. Not necessarily low intelligence, just low effort. And in a city where she has options, low effort becomes low interest within days. I had a friend who went on a date with a man who spent the entire evening speaking slowly and explaining things about Thai culture to her. She is a marketing manager. She studied in Australia for 3 years. She has a passport with more stamps than he does. The gap between his assumption and her reality was visible within 60 seconds. She was polite. She did not go on a second date. Drop the tourist frame immediately. Ask her about her world specifically, not Thai culture generally. Ask about her job, her neighborhood, the last place she traveled. Let her correct your assumptions when they are wrong. That is an invitation, not an insult. She is showing you who she actually is. Pay attention to it. She is not a cultural exhibit. She is a woman who lives in one of the most fast-paced cities in Asia. Treat her accordingly. Mistake number 2. Moving too fast because Bangkok feels different at night. Nightlife Bangkok creates an atmosphere of accelerated intimacy, the lights, the music, the energy at 2 a.m. on Thonglor. It all signals that time moves faster here, that the normal rules are slightly suspended, that things can happen in 3 days that would take 3 months somewhere else. They cannot. She is still evaluating you on the same timeline, regardless of the setting. What changes at night is the atmosphere. What does not change is the calculation she is running on you. The woman you met at a rooftop bar in Ekamai is not operating on nightlife time just because you met her there. She might be out because it is Friday and she needed to decompress from a difficult week. She might be celebrating something with friends. She is not necessarily on the same accelerated schedule that the energy of the night suggests to you. Speed without depth reads as desperation. And desperation in a city full of options is immediately disqualifying. I have watched men text for 3 days, declare their feelings, and then wonder why she went quiet. Not because she was not interested, because the speed felt like pressure. And pressure makes Bangkok women disappear without explanation. They do not argue about it. They do not tell you that you moved too fast. They simply become unavailable and stay that way. Nightlife context and relationship context are two entirely different conversations. Match her pace, not the city's energy. Slow escalation in Bangkok signals confidence. Fast escalation signals that you are anxious about losing something you have not actually won yet. Bangkok nights are fast. Bangkok. Women decide slowly, know which clock she is running on. Mistake number 3, misreading her financial awareness as greed. Bangkok women are financially literate in a way that surprises most foreign men. Living in one of Asia's most expensive cities, navigating a competitive job market, often supporting family in other provinces while maintaining a life here. Money is not a dirty subject to her. It is survival intelligence. It is something she thinks about clearly and practically, because she has had to. She is not counting your baht. She is assessing your financial stability as a real-world variable. There is a significant difference between those two things, and most men miss it. The man who flinches at financial reality signals that he is not equipped for her actual life. She does not need you to be rich. She needs to see that you are not financially fragile, that you can handle money without becoming anxious about it, resentful of it, or performative about it. The way you relate to money tells her something specific about what life with you would actually feel like. I heard about a situation that plays out constantly. He is on a date. She mentions her condo rent casually in conversation, and he makes a comment about how expensive Bangkok has gotten. A small comment, slightly resentful in tone. She hears something very specific in that. She hears, this man has a scarcity mindset. The evening does not go badly. It just does not go anywhere after that. He never understood why. Handle money with ease, not with performance, not with announcement, and not with resentment. Understand the difference between genuine generosity and being financially managed. Ask about her life with real curiosity, not with the energy of someone calculating what things are going to cost him. She is not interested in your bank balance. She is interested in whether money makes you anxious. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos in the future. Mistake number 4, confusing a good girl with a nightlife girl. Bangkok has two overlapping worlds, and most foreign men do not understand where they are standing at any given moment. The good girl and the nightlife girl are not two separate populations. They are sometimes the same woman in different hours of the same week. Office professional by day, out in Ekamai or Thonglor on Friday night. That is Bangkok normal. Nightlife exposure does not determine character, values, or relationship suitability. That distinction exists in tourist brochure thinking. It does not exist in actual Bangkok life. When a man tries to categorize a woman based on where he met her, she feels reduced. Categorization is the end of curiosity. And without curiosity, there is no real attraction. She can feel when she is being sorted into a box. She feels it immediately, and she does not appreciate it. She is a financial analyst. She went out with colleagues on a Thursday night to a rooftop bar in Salem. You met her there. You made assumptions, small ones, about what kind of woman goes out on a Thursday in that setting. Those assumptions leaked into the way you spoke to her, the questions you asked, the things you assumed she would and would not be interested in. She noticed all of it. She did not say anything. She just became unavailable. And you thought that chemistry was not there. Drop the mental category entirely. Treat every Bangkok woman as a full person operating across multiple contexts. Where you met her tells you almost nothing about who she is. Ask real questions. Listen to actual answers. The woman in front of you is not the context you found her in. The smartest women in Bangkok go to bars too. What you do with that information is the test. Mistake number 5, ignoring the social media reality. Bangkok women are deeply embedded in social media culture. Instagram, TikTok, Line. Her online presence is not vanity. It is social infrastructure. It is part of how she maintains relationships, how she exists in her community, and how she presents her life to the people who matter to her. Bangkok is one of the most photographed cities in Southeast Asia, and that is not by accident. It is part of daily life here. Her social network is watching who she is seen with, and she knows it. Every woman in her circle is paying attention to what shows up in her stories. What she posts, who she posts with, and what those posts communicate, all of this carries social weight that is completely real to her. A man who understands the social media layer without being consumed by it signals sophistication. A man who either ignores it completely or performs for it signals something else, either obliviousness to how her world actually works or insecurity about how he appears in it. She posts a photo from dinner. He is in it. He is on his phone in the photo. It is a small thing. To him, it is nothing. To her, it is a data point about whether he is actually present when he is with her. She notices. He does not. That gap is exactly the problem. Be present in shared moments. Phones face down when it matters. Do not pressure her to post about you. Let it happen naturally or let it not happen. And understand that her digital life is a real social layer with real consequences for her reputation, her relationships, and how she is perceived inside the community she actually lives in. In Bangkok, you exist online whether you want to or not. The only question is what version of you she is choosing to show. Mistake number 6, underestimating how quickly she has seen this before. Bangkok women who date foreign men have usually dated foreign men before. The lines are familiar. The patterns are visible. The script is recognized before you have finished the first page of it. Performing something she has already seen 3 previous versions of will not get you past the first week. The high turnover of expats and tourists moving through the city means she has had time to build a reference library. She knows the man who spends the first week being intensely attentive and then gradually disappears. She knows the man who says he is different from other foreign men. She knows that speech almost word for word because she has heard it from men who then behaved in completely identical ways. Pattern recognition shuts down openness. When she recognizes the script, she stops listening to the lines. I have seen this play out directly. He tells her she is different from other Thai girls. She smiles. It is a warm smile. But somewhere behind it, she is already categorizing him. Not with resentment, just with the quiet recognition of someone who has seen this particular opening before. She is already somewhere else mentally. Stop performing uniqueness. Demonstrate it through actual behavior. Ask questions that are specific to her. Questions that could not be answered by any other Bangkok woman. Questions that show you have actually been paying attention to who she is specifically. The fastest way to seem different from every other foreign man she has met is to stop trying to seem different. Just be real. Just be present. Just be genuinely curious about the actual person in front of you. She has heard it before. All of it. Show her something she has not seen. Be honest. How many of these first 6 have you already done without realizing it? Most men do not admit it even to themselves. Tell me in the comments. Mistake number 7. Performing generosity instead of practicing it. Bangkok is an expensive city. Generosity matters here. But there is a specific version of performed generosity that Bangkok women find more off-putting than actual stinginess. The man who makes sure she sees him being generous has already undermined every gesture he makes. High-end restaurants, rooftop bars, lobby hotels, these are not scoring opportunities. They are environments where Bangkok women are paying close attention to how you behave. And Bangkok women have been taken to nice places before by men who expected something in return. They are sensitized to transactional generosity. They can feel it the moment it enters the room. Quiet generosity in a city of performance is genuinely rare. and rare things are genuinely noticed. I know exactly how this plays out. He mentions the price of dinner twice. Once when he orders. Once when he pays. She says thank you warmly and she means it. But she does not think about him later. The generosity was real. The performance around it canceled it out entirely. Pay without commentary about the amount, the value, or what it represents. Small, unexpected gestures consistently outperform large, obvious ones. The coffee you order for her before she arrives. The taxi you call without being asked. The small thing you remembered and acted on quietly. These compound. These are what she tells her friends about. If you need her to notice your generosity, the generosity has already failed. She noticed. You ruined it by pointing. Mistake number 8, failing the emotional regulation test. Bangkok creates friction every single day. Traffic on Sukhumvit at 6 in the evening. The heat, crowded malls, service delays. Language gaps that turn simple transactions into small battles. How a man handles that friction in real time is one of the most revealing tests she will ever run on him. And she is usually running it without him knowing it is a test. Every small inconvenience in Bangkok is an evaluation moment. Public emotional expression reads as low status in Thai social context, and Bangkok amplifies this. A man who narrates his irritation, sighs loudly, comments on what went wrong, and then brings it up again later, is telling her something important. He is telling her what life inside a relationship with him would feel like when things are not comfortable. There is a concept here called Jai Yen, cool heart. A Bangkok woman who has seen emotional volatility from the men in her life responds to genuine steadiness, the way someone who has been thirsty for a long time responds to water. It is not just attractive. It is almost disorienting in the best way. The taxi takes a wrong turn. He sighs loudly, makes a comment about it, mentions it again at the restaurant. She absorbs it quietly. She is not judging him in a harsh way. She is doing math. She is calculating what this behavior looks like inside a real relationship, over real time, under conditions that are more difficult than a wrong taxi turn. She is calculating whether she wants to find out. Treat Bangkok friction as invisible. Handle it without narrating your irritation. One visible breath before any frustrated reaction. Always. A small, quiet laugh at an inconvenient moment ranks dramatically higher than composed annoyance. Show her that small difficulties do not change your emotional state, because if she believes that about you, she will show you who she actually is. Bangkok will test your patience every single day. She is watching what that test reveals. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos in the future. Mistake number 9. Mishandling the short-term versus long-term signal. Bangkok. Women read long-term versus short-term signals faster than almost any other demographic in the world. They have to. This city cycles through foreign men constantly. Expats on 3-month contracts. Digital nomads with flexible timelines. Retirees building a new chapter. Tourists who have a week and want to experience everything in it. She has developed an early detection system for which category a man belongs to, and she calibrates her investment accordingly. Short-term men behave with a specific kind of urgency. She recognizes it immediately. It is in how they structure time, how often they suggest a meeting, how quickly they try to move things forward. Long-term presence signals stability even before she knows anything else about you. Roots signal something that passes through energy never can. The man who references his departure timeline is signaling, usually without meaning to, that he is not asking her to invest in something real. She respects that signal by not investing, not with resentment, just with appropriate distance. She hears the expiration date and she files it. By the second date, he mentions his flight home. She nods. She is still warm, still engaged. still enjoying his company. But something shifted in what she is offering. Everything that follows is filtered through that expiration date. She is not angry about it. She is just protecting herself from making an investment with no return. Never reference departure timelines in early interactions. If you are here long-term, show it through routine and roots, not statements. The coffee shop you go to every morning, the neighborhood you know, the friends you have here. These things communicate permanence in a way that saying, "I am planning to stay," never quite does. And if you are genuinely short-term and you know it, be honest about it directly and early. Do not let it leak in sideways. That sideways leak is what creates the kind of damage she does not forget. She clocked your departure date before you mentioned it. What you do next is either honest or evasive. Mistake number 10. Pushing for emotional declarations too early. Bangkok. Women are emotionally expressive in private and emotionally calibrated in public. Urban Bangkok dating is fast in logistics but slow in emotional disclosure. She will plan a second date quickly. She will suggest a place without hesitation. But she will not tell you how she feels about you until she is ready. And she determines that timeline, not you. She is surrounded by men who perform emotion strategically. Foreign men who say the right things early because they have learned that it works. Thai men who say what seems expected in a particular moment. She has learned to wait before responding to emotional declarations, because she has learned that declarations without history behind them mean almost nothing. Here is the part most men miss entirely. Thai emotional expression is behavioral before it is verbal. When she cooks something for you, she has told you something real. When she texts you first 3 days in a row, she has told you something real. When she remembers something you mentioned once in passing and references it a week later, she has told you something real. Demanding the spoken version before she is ready does not speed anything up. It invalidates the unspoken version she has already given you. Week 3. He asks directly how she feels about him. She says she likes spending time with him, and she means it. He pushes for more clarity, more definition, more certainty. She goes quiet. 2 days later, she is less available, messages slower, energy cooler. He thinks she is playing games. She is not playing games. She is protecting herself from someone who cannot read what she has already been saying. Recognize behavioral expressions of interest. They always come before verbal ones in this context. Let her emotional pace set the tone and follow it rather than trying to lead it forward. Ask once, genuinely, about how she feels. Then, let it go. The man who asks again is the man who made her feel like she was being interrogated rather than known. She told you how she felt 3 times this week. You were waiting for words while she was speaking entirely in actions. Mistake number 11. Getting the public versus private balance wrong. What she allows in public and what she allows in private are 2 completely different sets of rules. Bangkok is more liberal than provincial Thailand. There is no question about that. But the social architecture still exists. And in her neighborhood, in front of her friends, in spaces where people know her, the rules are real and they carry real weight. Tourist zones like Khao San Road operate under almost entirely different social rules than Ari, Thonglor, or the coffee shop she goes to every Saturday morning near her apartment. The Bangkok woman in her local neighborhood is navigating a social landscape where what people see matters to how she is perceived, how she is spoken about, and what assumptions follow her. Getting this wrong in front of people she knows has consequences that follow her after you leave. Not consequences for you, consequences for her. The restraint she maintains in public makes what happens in private significantly more meaningful. When she is behind a closed door and she lets herself be warm and open and affectionate in ways she would never allow in public, that is not just intimacy. That is trust. She is showing you the version of herself that does not perform for anyone. A man who collapses both contexts into one, who treats private warmth as permission for public behavior, demonstrates in one moment that he does not understand how her world actually works. He reaches for her in a way that is comfortable and natural to him, but draws a small amount of attention in a setting where she knows people. She manages the moment gracefully, smoothly, without making it awkward. He interprets her grace as withdrawal. Later that evening, she is warm and open, and he genuinely does not understand what changed. He never connects the two moments because he does not understand that they were the same moment. Let her lead all public physical expression in environments she navigates regularly. Learn the difference between tourist Bangkok and her actual Bangkok. Apply that difference consistently without needing to be asked. The private warmth she gives you after a restrained public outing is information. It is telling you that she trusts you with the version of herself that does not have an audience. Receive that correctly. She is not cold in public. She is protecting something. The man who understands that gets everything in private. Mistake number 12. Disappearing after she invested. This is the one she will remember longest. This is the one that compounds across generations of Bangkok women and leaves a residue on every foreign man who comes after you. A Bangkok woman who begins to genuinely invest in a foreign man is taking a real risk. She knows the statistics. She has seen the departures. She has friends who have stories. She has her own stories. Every woman in her circle has a version of the foreigner who left without explanation. The one who was intensely present and then became a 3-word message. The one who said things that turned out to mean nothing when tested by actual time and actual distance. She carries this awareness as protective armor. It does not mean she will not open. It means that when she does open, the stakes are higher than you might realize. The man who stays consistent after she invests becomes something rare in this city, not romantic in a grand gesture way. Just rare. Just genuinely unusual. She cooked for him. She introduced him to one friend. She started texting first in the mornings, and then he got quiet, then quieter. Then the 3-word message that explained nothing and closed everything. She does not cry about it publicly, she files it. And the next foreign man starts the relationship with a woman who is already slightly more closed than she was before he arrived. The damage moves forward. Consistency after she invests is not romantic in the obvious sense. It is not flowers and declarations. It is the actual foundation of trust in a city that has given her plenty of reasons not to extend it. Under-promise and over-deliver in everything involving your reliability. If you feel yourself pulling back, say something real before you go quiet. The honest conversation, even if it is a difficult one, is infinitely better than the silence that leaves her with no explanation and nowhere to put what she was beginning to feel. She already expected you to disappear. That expectation was built by every man who came before you. Prove her wrong, and she will never forget it. 12 mistakes. Most foreign men make at least 6 of them. Some make all 12 and spend years in Bangkok, wondering why the connection never quite becomes what they were hoping for. Never quite reaches the depth they could feel was possible. Bangkok is not a difficult city for men who are paying attention. It is an extremely difficult city for men who are not. The women here are not complicated. They are specific. They have been shaped by a city that moves fast, exposes them to a great deal, and gives them options that women in other parts of the world simply do not have. When she chooses to be with you, inside all of that, inside all of the options and the exposure and the city's relentless pace, it means something real. Do not be the mistake she tells her friends about over drinks on a Saturday night. Do not be the pattern she recognized from the first week. Be the exception she was not expecting. The man who paid attention when it was inconvenient to pay attention. The man who stayed consistent when consistency required actual effort. The man she did not see coming. If you want to understand Bangkok better than most men who live here, you know where to find me. Creating those videos is often stressful next to a full-time job, so if you enjoy watching my videos, then please support me by subscribing to my channel. It just shows the algorithm that you like these kinds of videos. See you in the next video.